A live image right now, what's happening there on the streets of Hong Kong. Hong Kong police say that dispersal operations will continue through that area after protesters threw petrol bombs at police. They say that they vandalized metro stations and started small fires like the one that you see right there. Police saying, quote, posing a serious threat to safety of everyone at the scene. We've seen police respond with tear gas. We've seen police use water cannon with blue dye to identify people who have taken part in these protests. You're looking now at a live image on the streets at 5:52 p.m. We have seen this many weekends now, the 17th straight weekend that we've seen these protests. The protests started again 17 weekends after people were upset about an extradition bill that was posed by the city's chief executive that would have given mainland China more ability to extradite people from Hong Kong. Protesters continued to push back. That bill was withdrawn, but the protests continue. Our Will Ripley is in the middle of it all. Will is live on the streets there in Hong Kong. And Will, tell us what you're seeing.
George, just a few minutes ago, and it's mostly dissipated, but there was a large plume of black smoke coming from the direction of Wan Chai MTR station. We believe it's from protesters who set the entrance to the MTR on fire. But I want to bring your attention to this protester here right there. He's got two Molotov cocktails, the petrol bombs that protesters have used as their weapon of choice against riot police. Petrol bombs along with bricks that they pull up from the sidewalk as well. Now, we know that there are riot police down in this direction here. We also know that water cannons are approaching this area. But what the protesters have done, they've set up barricades here. You see another barricade right down there to try to foil the authorities as they approach. In fact, we see the firefighters just now arriving on scene here. No fire that I can see in our immediate area, but of course there was that very large plume of smoke just down the block. So we wonder if perhaps they're coming from there. Let's take a walk over this way just to see what's happening. It's really incredible how this scene is so fluid and how the front line continues to change. Earlier it was Causeway Bay. Protesters walked about a half an hour here to Wan Chai, then to Admiralty. And the front line keeps moving. As the police and the fire officials move into the area, the protest moves to a different area. So we were in this area when it was relatively quiet. People had basically moved in that direction. Then a whole crowd of people came here in a very short period of time because Hong Kong Island, it's all pretty close together. You can get most places in the city fairly quickly, even on foot if you have to. And that's exactly what these people are doing. So we see, this is another interesting thing I haven't seen before. We see a lot of protesters using umbrellas to guard themselves against the tear gas. But this is a young man. Can I see your sign here? He used a street sign. So do you use this if they fire the tear gas?
Yeah, for protect us yourself.
Yeah. Can you tell me why you're out here? Why you're out here fighting?
Because the government sucks, and this is why we need to help our future. Because they are actually destroying our future. So we come out on the street and fight for our future, fight for our freedom.
A fight for their future. Thank you very much for speaking. A fight for their future that continues. And that's partially why you see, let's get a little closer, you see another smoke plume rising here. That's why you see these young people out here weekend after weekend risking arrest, risking injury. And we've seen a lot of arrests, and we've seen some people injured just today. So you see that fire engine that we saw racing by is now at the Wan Chai MTR station, where we saw another smaller plume just a short time ago. And it just continues out here, George. All I have to say is, in some ways, it feels like a broken record. Weekend after weekend, we're out here, and yet still the situation finds a way to escalate and intensify and to keep you on your toes. And you never quite know what to expect, what's going to happen next. Oh, look, a lot of people running down this way. So we're going to walk over this way, George. Looks like hundreds, maybe thousands of people running very quickly from the direction of Admiralty and that Wan Chai MTR station, now heading back towards Wan Chai and Causeway Bay. So it continues here, George.
Will Ripley on the streets of Hong Kong. Will, stay safe with your team. We'll continue to watch this. Again, the 17th straight weekend of protests. Many have been peaceful before. The sheer numbers show the size, and some of these protests have turned violent.